You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Welcome to From Beneath the Hollywood Sign. If you love old movies, Hollywood history, or the golden age of filmmaking, you've come to the right place. This is the podcast that talks about amazing stories of Tinseltown from another era and fascinating conversations with writer-producer Steve Cubine and actress-writer Nan McNamara.
So, Steve, did Ava Gardner and Howard Hughes have a good relationship?
Well, they did until he dislocated her jaw.
What?
Well, don't worry. She hit him back with an ashtray.
From Beneath the Hollywood Sign is the gin joint for you.
Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neal, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neal, and today is our special Star Trek trivia tournament. You may have listened to our other tournaments for The Office and Disney and some others, but today we're very excited to do a Star Trek episode, and I'm joined with Jeff today. How are you, Jeff?
I'm doing great. How are you, Neal?
I'm doing well. As the listeners know, you're a huge Office fan. You have a very deep knowledge when it comes to The Office. How are you on Star Trek trivia?
I'm going to say I'm not great at it because I haven't seen a lot of the series. I have seen the original series. I'm a huge fan. I've seen the newer movies, but that's not a lot of the Star Trek canon. So I'm going to say I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, but I do enjoy what I've seen thus far. So
yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know a lot about it. I do enjoy it. There's a quick story. My biggest sort of connection with Star Trek. I had a LaForge figurine, 12-inch figurine that I used to have all the time. I actually just sold at a garage sale not too long ago. But my favorite story is I used to watch it on TV a little bit, and we had our first Target open in our town, which was a huge deal because no one had a Target around here. And I remember going with my dad and my brother in this beat-up station wagon that my dad had for work for a little while. And we went to Target. They had a fireworks show to celebrate the grand opening. And when we went inside, my dad said you can each buy one toy to sort of celebrate the opening of Target. And being the filmmaker that I am, I loved the makeup of Quark. And they had a Quark figurine. And I was like, oh, that's like the coolest thing ever. So that was what I bought, was a Quark figure. And then the fireworks happened. We were sitting on top of the station wagon, and they put the fireworks too close on the roof of the Target, and all the ash started smacking everyone's car and hitting people, and everyone just bolted away and drove away really fast. So yeah, it definitely turned into a crazy night, but I won't forget it because it was attached with Star Trek. So but with Jeff being a decent sized fan and me a little bit, we needed to bring in someone who was an expert, someone who could help guide us and write these questions for our special competitors we'll introduce in a minute. And we're happy to bring on the show our friend Matt Kirk. How's it going, Matt?
Super nerd reporting for duty. I'm great. How are you guys?
Doing great. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your Star Trek fandom, and anything else you'd like to tell us?
Well, growing up with the last name of Kirk, it was pretty hard to ignore all the Star Trek stuff going around me. Thankfully, I grew not to resent it, but to appreciate it. Grew up with Next Generation and watched all the series since then. So have pretty much made it, I don't want to say a cornerstone of my life, but it's been pretty prominent in most dealings I've had, just, general morality and making sure that diversity is important in my life. So yeah, just generally big fan, love all the shows. I'm not going to say I'm an apologist for some of the recent shows. I appreciate them for what they are, but there's definitely been a lot of diversity recently in the Star Trek shows.
That's great. And today's game is spanning films, TV, all of that stuff?
It's everything. Anything that's got the name Star Trek on it is fair game. And I told everybody that before we started. So y'all better bring it, because I sure did.
Well, speaking of the competitors who are going to hear those questions, let's introduce all of them. We're joined today by Andrew, Chaz, and John. Let's start with Andrew. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And for everyone today, let us know what Star Trek character you would want joining you in lockdown in quarantine.
Hey, Neal. Hey, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for putting this together. I'm Andrew. I live in Durham, North Carolina. I grew up in Toronto, Canada. I've been a fan of Star Trek ever since I was 6 years old. Next Generation came on the air, and somehow the shakiness of the show didn't shake me off at the beginning, because I guess 6-year-olds are easy to impress. Which Star Trek character would I want to spend in lockdown with? I think my initial answer was going to be Chief O'Brien, because I think he's got a lot of stories to tell and wouldn't be all up in airs about his career. He just kind of like knows a lot of cool people. I think if I was going to have some time with any real life person, I'd try and lock down LeVar Burton for a little bit of time, because he's seen a lot and would be an excellent guy to talk to about many things. And since you said Star Wars a couple of times during the preamble, I think any Star Wars character I want to hang out with, it would probably be Cara Dune from Mandalorian, because it looks like she's also seen some stuff in her time and, is pretty awesome.
All very good answers, and the cat is out of the bag. My tongue slipped a little bit before the recording, but it's okay, because everyone on Star Trek, it seems to me, enjoys each other's company. So I hopefully will be forgiven and not thrown out of the ship. So let's move on to Chaz. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You were on a previous trivia tournament, but this one you said you were most passionate about.
Yeah, I grew up a fan of Star Trek I still remember watching with my dad when I was a kid. We'd watch the Next Gen when it came on, and then we were watching old episodes of the original series on the, when it was in syndication, and oh man, just forever and forever. I loved it, and I never really grew out of it. I kind of thought I might, but never really happened. So, yeah, I love Star Trek. I love everything about it. In fact, somebody asked me the other day, well, if I could live in any fictional TV series, where would it be? And it was Star Trek, hands down. Come on. How are you going to turn that down? Beautiful utopian future. But no, if I would spend in quarantine with any Star Trek character, I'm going to go with Dr. Phlox, because that guy is crazy. Plus, he comes with his own animals, so, you get the bats flying around. I think there's an eel in there somewhere. It's great, or possibly Patrick Stewart, because Patrick Stewart.
Just the man, Patrick Stewart, Sir Patrick Stewart. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yes, he's amazing. There's nothing else to say about him, really.
The man who never ages. Well, thank you for joining us, Chaz. And our final competitor today is John. How are you, John? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been a Star Trek fan. I almost had the same slip up there. I've been a Star Trek fan for a while. I grew up with Next Generation. I watched heavily from Next Generation to about Voyager, and then I kind of had a flashback with them, flash forward, and then out between movies and the original series and future incarnations of Star Trek, but. It's been a long time, fan. It's been a part of me. I keep telling my wife, I'm like, look, honey, my first tattoo, I need the Star Trek insignia on my chest. But I keep wussing out of it.
Well, maybe if you pull victorious in this tournament, maybe that'll be the impetus for you to go get that tattoo.
It very well may.
That'll be a good deal you can make with your wife. Well, we appreciate all of you joining us today. We're really excited to see you in competition. And before we get started, let me throw it to Jeff. If you haven't listened to these episodes before, Jeff can explain sort of what the competitors are having in store today.
Yep, so it's going to be pretty straightforward. It's just going to be 15 questions. Each of our competitors will have to answer. The winner of this is going to move on to a final round against our competitor from the episode 2 of this series. So 3 competitors this week, 3 next week. The best 2 will move on to the final, and we'll find out who is the ultimate Star Trek fan.
Sorry, didn't we say there was going to be a wild card from?
And that is the surprise Ric Flair coming in with the chair.
Sorry.
No, that was good. I'm glad that you said that. So Matt is correct. So if you do not get victorious in this episode, but you have the highest score between the first 2 episodes, you will be the wild card entrant into the final. So don't be discouraged if you're not the winner, but try to get as many points as possible, because that can help you in the long run. All right. Well, Matt, we are patiently in the wings here watching you do your thing, since you are the expert. So we will keep score and help keep things flowing, but feel free to take the keys and run with it, and let's get this thing started.
All right, here we go. Good luck to everybody. And here we go with question number 1. How many different Trill hosts have been joined with the Dax symbiont? This does not include Dax's abduction by Varad, and it does not include the alternate future Yedrin Dax. We're talking about the main core long-term joining with the Dax symbiont. We're just looking for the number of hosts.
Okay, we got 3 lock-ins. Let's start with Andrew.
I believe as of Esri, there were 8 DAX hosts.
Okay, let's go to Chaz.
I locked in with 7. I could only come up with 7 in my head, so.
Okay, and John.
I honestly didn't know. I put 5.
Okay, well, I think we had the closest guess with 8. There have actually been 9 DAX hosts, so no points on that one.
And those were not portrayed by Dak Shepard, is that correct?
No.
Okay.
Can you name them? Because I could have sworn it was 8.
That might be a tiebreaker question later, so we'll have to save that.
Oh, there you go. All right.
All right, question number 2. What holographic hero was often played by Tom Paris?
I can see it in my head with the Spider Woman thing and the black and white. Oh my God, what is the name? Him and Harry Kim bopping around that holosuite. You know what? It's not going to come to me, so I'm going to have to bow out of this one gracefully.
All right, so Chaz is going to tap, so we'll go to Andrew for his answer.
Tom Paris played that Flash Gordon-esque hero, Captain Proton.
Okay, and John.
Oh, I want to stab myself. I had nothing, so I put Sherlock Holmes. But, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't know that.
All right, we finally got some points on the board. It is indeed Captain Proton. Well done.
Matt, by the way, you were entirely correct. There were 9 DAX hosts in the main run.
I know I was right. I looked it up.
I dropped one. I apologize.
Yeah, Captain Proton. I love that whole series, and Arachnia, Queen of the Spider People. She was great, and that's one of the roles that Kate Mulgrew actually said she would come back and play again if she had a chance to for Star Trek. So yeah,
she looked like she had a blast playing.
Oh, it's just chewing up the scenery left and right. It was great. Okay, let's move on to question number 3. What does the designation NMINLN stand for as seen in Lieutenant Commander Data's personnel file?
I'm locked in.
I'm locked in with some hot garbage.
Okay. All right, well, we smell something. It could be garbage. It could be popcorn. We're not sure, but let's start with Andrew. What did you have?
Well, I think it's because Data is a mononym like Cher that NMINLN stands for no middle initial, no last name.
Okay, let's go to Chaz.
That would make a lot of sense because I put a whole bunch of stuff here. Neuromechanical interface, non-living, and know-it-all spelled wrong.
And
John,
John,
that technobabble is right at home.
what did you have, John?
I put Noonian. My intelligence needs lithium nachos.
Okay, well, this was a reference to the fact that Data does only have one name, so this does stand for no middle initial, no last name, and that's actually the same kind of designation that you would see on missing persons files if they only had like the first name of somebody. They just don't have it defined yet.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it is a real world application. So if you ever see that, that's what that means.
And if anyone needs to get John a gift, just get him some of those lithium nachos, and he'll be happy, right?
Yes.
That's a great trivia team name, Lithium Nachos. Okay. Well, let's go on to question 4. I don't think I did this on purpose, but in Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, what real life facility near California's Bay Area was used as the filming location for the fictional Cetacean Institute?
Sure, what the hell? I'll lock in.
Okay. All right, let's start with Andrew.
I don't have a real answer for this, but I'm just going to go off the Futurama pun and the Star Trek theme that this is going to be Fisherman's Wharf.
All right.
That's a double pun. That's great.
Thank you. Definitely stole it from Futurama.
Chaz, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's wrong, but I seem to remember it's something along these lines that I put SeaWorld.
Okay. And John?
I went right into the bay. I said Alcatraz.
Okay, well, no points for this one. If you guys ever get a chance to visit, this is a pretty slick facility. Although when I went, I was about 19 years old, and I was very sad that there were no humpback whales there. This is actually the Monterey Bay Aquarium in Monterey. So, okay, moving on to question number 5. Lieutenant Malcolm Reed was allergic to what tropical fruit?
Locked in.
Okay.
Locked in.
That leaves John, so feel free
Locked
to...
in.
Oh, locked in. All right. Quick lock-ins there. Let's start with Andrew.
This was a terrible episode, so I'm a little ashamed to remember it, but he was allergic to pineapple.
All right. And Chaz?
It's his favorite food, pineapple.
And John?
Pineapple is my answer.
All right. Points all around. That's our first social, or if we have one of those.
Yeah.
Everybody got it. It is pineapples. Good job, everybody.
Awesome. Let's go to Jeff for a quick score update.
Yep. So currently what we are looking at here is Andrew has the lead with 3 correct, and Chaz and John with 1 apiece.
All right.
Crushing it.
A lot of questions to go, so a lot of ground to make up here for everyone.
Okay, here we go. Question number 6. What actor guest starred on Star Trek Discovery as the brigand Harry Mudd? He is best known as a series regular on the American version of The Office.
You're giving way too much info here. I'm locking in.
Well, I got to give Neal and Jeff some kind of grounding,
All right, with everyone locked in, let's start with Andrew.
That's Mr. Dwight Schrute himself, Rainn Wilson.
And Chaz?
I knew it was Dwight Schrute, but I did not know the name of the actor for the life of me. I think I was too distracted by the fact that he didn't have that mustache.
And John?
I was in the exact same boat. Like, I knew it was Dwight, but I couldn't think of his name, so I just went with Steve Carell and hoped I just, bull crouch my way to a right answer.
You know what? I would pay money to see Steve Carell as Harry Mudd. That would be pretty amazing, actually. But Andrew's got it right. This is Rainn Wilson is the correct answer for that one. Okay, moving on to question 7. The Enterprise E was portrayed to have what type of upgraded torpedo in its arsenal?
All right, that'll lock everybody in. Let's go back to Andrew.
I don't remember this one for sure, but the only other upgrade over the photon torpedo that they ever talked about in contemporary Trek was the quantum torpedo.
All right, Chaz?
I'm almost 100% sure they fire them off at the Borg cube at the beginning of First Contact, and they are the quantum torpedoes.
And John?
Only reason I know it is because one of the only movies I've seen was First Contact. Quantum torpedoes.
All right, points all around. It is quantum torpedoes. Nice work. Okay, moving on to question number 8. Name the cyberneticist who legally challenged Data's status as a sentient being and would later reappear on Star Trek Picard.
So it's one of my favorite episodes of all time. Probably my favorite episode, Measure of a Man. He comes on and Data's on trial. We try to figure out if Data has a soul. What is his name?
I give 2 minutes for you and your gallant crew. Is what Khan says to Kirk when they're got the Reliant in Star Trek 2 and they're facing him down because they caught him with their pants down.
Good old Ricardo Montalban.
Mm-hmm.
Not to showboat, but I'm pretty sure that was Christopher Lloyd in Star Trek 3.
Oh,
you're right. Yeah. Khan only gives him 60 seconds.
60
right.
60 seconds.
60 seconds. Yeah.
I've got it.
All right.
Great, with everybody locked in, let's start with Chaz.
So that intrepid scientist is Dr. Maddox.
All right, Andrew?
That would be the porn star-ish name I've ever heard from a Star Trek character, Bruce Maddox.
And John?
I just hope Dwight appears in this one too. Rainn Wilson.
No, this was Bruce Maddox. Good job, guys. That was a deep cut. When they showed him on Picard, I was like, oh wow, really? We're going that far deep? Okay. They got a different actor to play him, but that was okay. All right. Moving on to a little Discovery history for question number 9. How many Klingon great houses existed at the time of the Battle of the Binary Stars?
Locked in.
And you can give me we'll have a region of plus or minus 2 on this one. So if you get within 2, you get credit.
All right, that's everyone. Let's start with John this time.
Something I don't know, but using my game theory with a plus or minus of 2, I went with 12.
All right, Chaz.
I was pretty sure there are 24 great houses.
And Andrew.
I was also pretty sure there were 24 great houses.
Oh, good.
And you two are correct. It is 24 great houses at the time of the Battle of the Binary Stars. Yep. Moving on to question number 10. What classic novel does Captain Spock give as a birthday gift to Admiral Kirk just before his inspection of the Enterprise?
Locked in.
Okay, let's, with everyone locked in, let's start with Andrew.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. You trying to tell me something, Spock? It was Tale of Two Cities.
Oh, thank God.
I was going to say, Chaz, what's your answer then?
Yeah, I was 100% certain that Dr. McCoy gave him a pair of reading glasses, but I wasn't 100% sure if it was A Tale of Two Cities or Moby Dick, and I went with A Tale of Two Cities.
And John.
Like that quote went right through my head and just left into the Gamma Quadrant. So I just said To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yeah, Moby Dick probably would have been more appropriate for Captain Picard. Captain Kirk got A Tale of Two Cities as a birthday gift. Nice job.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. Wait, that's wrong. Wrong show. Sorry.
Glad it wasn't Moby Dick because I live in New Bedford.
Oh, there you go. Well, after 10 questions, it looks like Andrew has 8 points. Chaz has gained a little bit of ground on John with 5 points, and John is at 2 points. So still some ground to get some points here before the end of the game.
Remember, we've got that wild card spot, so don't give up.
That's right.
Okay. Moving on to question 11. Speaking of Captain Picard, the Picard maneuver was an improvised gambit first used against a ship of what alien race?
All right. Everyone is locked in. Just to change things up a little bit, let's start with John.
I was trying to think of it. Like I was digging and digging and digging. Like Next Gen is my jam, but it's like I was trying to think what race it would be. I feel like Picard had more, issue with the Romulan. So that was my guess, the Romulan.
All right. Let's go to Chaz.
So I'm pretty sure, and I hope I haven't remembered the wrong maneuver, that this was the move he performed on an unknown alien aboard the Stargazer, which what later turned out to be the Ferengis.
And Andrew.
It is the Ferengi, and not just his uniform that he tugged down all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, the Ferengi were originally thought they were going to be the big bad villains of Next Generation, and then they actually saw them on screen and said, yeah, they're more comic relief. So, Ferengi is what we're going for. All right. Moving on to question number 12, a little bit of love to complete the list. Fill in the blank of this list of enterprising captains. Here's your list. Pike, Kirk, Harriman, blank, and Picard. So one more time, your list is Pike, Kirk, Harriman, blank, and Picard.
Don't know. I'm going to lock in with a tap, basically.
Okay, let's start with Chaz on this one.
So I have no idea. I'm afraid I had to tap. I'm pretty sure it's the captain of the Enterprise C, but I could not come up with that name.
All right, let's go to John.
Yeah, I didn't have anything too. I was gonna I was trying so hard to think of anybody, but I almost went with the captain of what we talked about before, the captain of the Bozeman, but instead I just went with another captain. I put Archer.
All right, and Andrew.
The captain I think you want on the list is Captain Rachel Garrett, who was the captain of the Enterprise C. But would you also accept Shooter McGavin for his little stint at the end of that episode?
No, because he hadn't actually been promoted to the rank of captain. So
well, fair enough.
No, Lieutenant Castillo, I would not accept as a correct answer. But yes, Pike was captain of the first Enterprise. Kirk was captain of the Enterprise A. Harriman was captain of the Enterprise B. Picard was the captain of the Enterprises D and E. And the captain of the Enterprise C is Rachel Garrett, as seen in the episode Yesterday's Enterprise, one of the best.
Harriman is the one that's in the beginning of Generations, correct?
He is, played by Alan Ruck. Yeah.
Thank you. That's
by Cameron. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, does his ship look like a Ferrari that he beat the crap out of?
Kinda. It's an Excelsior. It's an Excelsior with a really ugly thing on the bottom of it. So I mean, it's kind of a Ferrari looking thing. I mean, they said they designed the Excelsior class to look like a Japanese version of the Enterprise, whatever that means. Anyway. All right, moving on to question number 13. In the Deep Space Nine episode Change of Heart, Bashir nearly defeats Quark in a game of Tongo with his full consortium. Quark, however, bests him with what unbeatable hand?
I'm close, but I'm not going to delay it. I'll lock in.
All right. Let's start with Andrew.
The first word is total. I don't remember the second word, so I'm just going to say total conglomerate.
All right. And Chaz?
I'm feeling a little better about my answer now. I was pretty sure the second word was monopoly, so I put total monopoly.
Okay. And John?
I'm showing my Star Trek prowess here, gentlemen. I put the old Ferengi move, sleight of hand.
Yeah, it was funny. Up until this point in Deep Space Nine, whenever they had depicted Tongo, whoever had the full consortium, everybody said, oh, okay, they win. But this was the first time we heard of a hand that actually beat a full consortium, and it was a total monopoly. Nice job.
Nice ball.
Yeah, good job. All right. A little bit of a crossover question here for this one. Number 14. What veteran actor reprised his Star Trek First Contact role as a cameo in the pilot episode of Enterprise?
Was there a card game, Matt, in Star Trek? Or is that maybe what you were referring to? Something with Fizz in the name?
Fizzbin? Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
locked in.
Kirk invented it, but it wasn't really a game. I mean, who knows if it was really a game or not? But Kirk just it was one of these bluff ideas that he kind of made up as he went along to distract the guards. And then Spock came around with the nerve pinch.
You need a good nerve pinch just in case a card game goes awry. Everyone is locked in. Let's start with Andrew.
Be Zephyr Cochrane himself, James Cromwell.
And Chaz.
Couldn't think of the first name, but I have Cromwell.
And John.
I put Michael Dorn. I'm doing awesome, guys. Crushing it.
Yeah, in this case, Cromwell's going to be good enough. James Cromwell as Zephyr Cochrane. Yep, he actually gave part of the dedication ceremony send-off for the Enterprise NX-01. It was actually pretty neat of him to do. He came in and did that kind of just on an off day. So, yeah, it was a good get for the producers of Enterprise. All right. We are here at the end of game number 1, gentlemen, and here's your question. What name did Will Riker's transporter duplicate choose to distinguish himself from himself?
Locked in.
Locked in.
I am locked the bleep in.
Well, let's start with Chaz on this final question.
He went with his middle name and is later seen in DS9, Thomas Riker.
All right. And Andrew?
His name is my name, too. It's Thomas.
And John?
I have Thomas.
All right.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's points all around. It is indeed Thomas Riker. Nice job.
All right. I believe that brings us to the end of the first game of the Star Trek tournament. I'm going to throw it to Jeff for final scores here.
Yep. So to end game 1, we have John with 3, Chaz with 9, and Andrew with 12 out of 15 correct.
Great job, everyone. Really great
everybody.
job.
9's a pretty decent score. I wouldn't be surprised if that made it in
awesome.
as the wild card.
9 may play.
Well, you know what? Let's start with John. I know, John, you said you were given some answers that you weren't sure were right or some fun ones, but we had a ton of fun having you here on the show, getting to meet you face to face. Any last words from you? Anyone you'd like to say hello to?
I'll start by saying I forgot to mention this in the earlier part of this episode. The one I would want to hang out with would have been Guinan, because I bet she's got stories for eons. But now looking at my score, I would probably rather be locked in quarantine with Q, so I could be more omniscient and figure out these damn answers. I'll say hello to my wife, my kids. Thank you guys. Just a quick aside. You guys showed so much support when I married. I really appreciate it. It really meant a lot. It means a lot. Just think, it's always so many bad things going on. I had such an awesome blast doing this. Seriously, scores notwithstanding, it was so amazing. I hope I get to come back on for another thing and redeem myself a lot better than this. You guys are awesome, man.
Well, we think you're awesome.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah,
it really does.
It does mean a lot, and you're welcome back anytime, and we'll have to get you on another episode as competitor or host. We appreciate you and your support. Chaz,
absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. Chaz, any last words from you?
Well, wild card or no, I will say this is fun as always. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys and hang around with you guys. And for those of you keeping track at home, there are over 4 weeks, if you do nothing but watch Star Trek, 4 weeks of Star Trek to watch and enjoy. So enjoy the not eating and the not sleeping, because you'll be busy for a while.
Great. Now that's exactly what's going to be on our schedule now, I think. Andrew,
he scrapped one of my tiebreaker questions for later.
That's all right. No one else is going to know except Andrew might. But
yeah.
Andrew, you are moving on to the final with your 12 points. Any last words from you before we hear from you again pretty soon?
I'll say this for later as well, but thanks, John. Thanks, Chaz. It's been a blast. Hopefully I'll get to see one or both of you in an hour or so. Matt, thanks a lot for putting this together. Jeff, Neal, thanks a lot for hosting. It's been a blast. I'm always down to geek out with y'all, and I can look forward to continuing to do so.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. A very big thank you for week 1 here to Matt for providing these questions. We appreciate it. They were all really, really great. And we're going to see all of you back in 1 week. We'll see you next week. It'll be Jeff and myself, along with Matt, with 3 new competitors. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, which was brought to you by all of our wonderful Patreon supporters who we could not do this show without. So thank you to all of you out there who are supporting our show. And we look forward to seeing you next week on Game 2 of Star Trek Trivia. For Jeff, Matt, John, Chaz, and Andrew, my name is Neal, and that was Triviality.